you are treating your boss wrong. So I've got this idea in my head as to how to fix a relationship that you've got with your boss. Now, that's not to say that you don't have a good relationship. It's just probably to enhance it. It depends on where you are on the spectrum right now. But I know that there is always almost a gap that you can feel that can enrich your relationship with your boss. But if you're not feeling that gap, you may be treating your boss wrong. And I want you to listen to me because this can change the game for you. Now, relationship building is a two-way street. How I see a lot of professionals dealing with it is they expect their boss to be nice to them. They expect their boss to be kind to them. They expect their boss to support them. They expect to be recognized by their boss. They expect to be nominated for promotion by their boss. But they do not sit back and think about how they can replicate the ask. When you're dealing with human beings, this is how I have been able to sort of navigate my dealings. Not necessarily at work only. The things that you do for other people is a direct reflection of how you want to be treated. So if you want to pass a message to somebody, especially if the person is self-aware and smart enough, if you do something for someone, it is almost automatic for the person to feel obligated to replicate. And that is where I want you to plug in. And I want you to take a cue from and enrich your relationships with your boss. And not only your boss, even in your marriage, it can work in any type of setting or any kind of, it depends if you apply it appropriately. Now, like I said, relationship is a two-way street. You shouldn't always continue to expect your boss to do stuff for you while you are not replicating. Okay, so it's a mindset shift from probably what you were used to what I now need you to be doing right now. The first thing I'm going to say to you right now is this: your boss is human. He's human like you, blood flowing through the veins. They feel all types of emotions just like you. They are humans. They've got family like you. They've got people they love. They have normal life just like you. They have their expectations. So you look at them from a transactional perspective only, but there is a whole human behind that role and that office that they occupy. That is where I want you to plug into. That's what I want you to plug into. Okay, there's a whole human behind that conversation, behind that role, behind that grade. Okay, so your boss is human. So if you think about just that thing I said, that your boss being human, if you think about just that, you can then begin to say, okay, this person is human just like me. What would I expect from another person if I was in that role? Okay, so, and let me tell you, there is a gap and there's a problem. And like I do say, every conversation that I have with people, I'm always looking for what's the pain here? What's the problem here? How do I fit in? How can I help? No, there's a pain here. There's a gap. The higher you go in your career, the lesser the chances of being appreciated, recognized, or being thanked for good work, because it is just expected. So if you're just starting your career, let's say you are in your first year, second year, third year, and you're speaking up and you're turning in, you're giving your results and all of that, people just tend to say, oh, and it's just the first year. Oh, and she did that. Oh, and she did this. People are just naturally so supportive and so easy, and so like they're gonna recognize you just because they don't think is normal. They think you're doing something extraordinary. Okay, just because you're still seen as someone that needs to be supported and all of that, but you're going over and beyond that. Now, when you are more advanced in your career and you're stepping into mid management and above, it's just expected. Excellence is just expected. So your boss is thanked or recognized lesser times than you are. Okay? Lesser. And because they are humans, back to the fact that they are humans, they want to be recognized for the work that they do. Okay? And they are most likely going over and beyond, but because it's just expected, they feel some type of way too. Now, and there are also, beyond that, there are even also minimal opportunities for them to really show that they are different from the pack. Very, very, because their work is so tailored and probably not tailored, probably more general. Deliver this. However you choose to do it, just deliver it. And even if they are onboarding new strategies, new plans, it's so hard to, just continue to recognize them from time to time. So they have that gap of nobody is really seeing them or the work that they're doing. And that is just the fact. Okay? So they get praises less, they get recognized less than you are. And that's a gap because they also need to feel recognized for the work that they do. Now, where do you come in? There are a couple of tips that I have for you that I want you to act on. If you act on it, you'll come back and thank me because it's going to work. I'm almost certain. This is almost a guarantee that it's going to work. I've got a couple of tips for you. Number one, if your boss does a good job, let's say there's a report you did the first draft, you gave it to your boss, and then your boss enriched it, add a couple of things, and then that draft that you did initially is now looking all so fabulous, nice, neatly placed. Look, don't just say, oh, well, he's the boss now, that's why he knows a lot, right? He knows a lot, that's why he's the boss. No, don't do that, because that's where a lot of people, that's an opportunity for you to connect. So you then say to your boss, oh, wow, did you see how you moved this report from draft 1 to draft 3? That is phenomenal. I hope that one day in my career, I will get to a point where I can transform things like this too. You see, just that sentence is going to change. Even if it's just that day, they're going to feel recognized. Okay? So don't get used to your boss doing something extraordinary on top of what you've done and just say it's because they are the boss. No. Learn to say kind words and adore their skills. Learn to say to them, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Maybe they gave you, and usually when they do things, they do it out of their wealth of knowledge and experience, right? That you may not have. So when you see it, recognize it. And in fact, it's one of the ways how you learn as well, because you're recognizing it and you're calling it and you're like, I didn't think about it that way, or I didn't see it this way. And then because you called it out, they just feel valued in that moment. And because of that, you're also teaching them how to value you when you also go the extra mile. Okay, now do not flatter. Because now that I've said praise your boss, some people will just run with it and be calling their bosses also. Don't flatter. You're going to get this right if you stick to the facts. So for instance, this report was a 2-page draft that I gave you. It is now a 5-page report or a 4-page report with more insights than I would have thought we would be putting into this report. So I thought that was an extraordinary addition of value to this report I have done. So I really, really appreciate your insights that you have added to this report, and I hope that I will be able to do this as well at some point in the future. You stuck to the fact. You have not flattered them, because flattery can be irritating, because it seems like you're just trying to praise them because you want something from them. But if you stick to the facts and you just call out exactly what they've done and how you feel about what they've done, then that's just going to be perfect. Okay? Another key thing is this, or tip. Your boss has a boss that he is trying to impress. Okay? Just like you are trying to impress your boss also has a boss he is trying to impress. And it may be in a situation where you're reporting directly to your CEO, so ignore this one if that is where you land. But if your boss has a boss that they're trying to impress, there is a gap there. Now, you could do something, especially if they have done, maybe they've given direction, they've made you settle in well, they've just done something really nice, or they've thought about you, they've validated you, they've helped you resolve an issue. When you have meetings with the boss of your boss, you could just drop a liner, you could just drop a sentence and say, oh, by the way, your boss did this for you, which you truly appreciate, and you think it embodies the value of your organization. Something like that. Simple. In that instance, you are dragging your boss to your side. You are helping them get recognized. I have legit done something like that before, that my boss's feedback from his boss included what I said about my own immediate boss. So I got into a meeting, I said something nice about my immediate boss. Very random, very, very random. By the time we got to the end of the year, we're doing feedback stuff. The boss of my boss wrote in my boss's feedback that he thought it demonstrated some skills or some attributes because I had said it. Yeah, that's it. So you need to understand that you are powerful on your team, and you can use that to play to make other people feel better about themselves, and you can use it to encourage your boss to come to your side and build genuine relationships. Okay? So have that back of your mind. Now, if you think your boss is exceptional in a particular area, nominate them for awards. If they are trying to do like awards in your organization, on your teams or whatever, and you think that your boss deserves it, don't just say, nominate them and encourage other people to support you to nominate your boss. It works all the time. It's just what it is. And this is not about you, because obviously if you are nominating someone for an award, there has to be facts backing it for them to win it. Okay? So if you have the facts and you think they're deserving, then you do it. Okay? Another thing is, don't just listen for them to complain about their workload. Ask, how can I help? Now, a lot of people think when they ask their boss, oh, how can I help you? It means that they're going to kill themselves with workload. I don't think so. Especially if your boss is reasonable. I don't think so. It's just a matter of, okay, how can we use the resources we have now, people, technology, money, whatever it is we have now, to support the workload that my boss has now? And how can I be central to easing that burden for them? Whatever that means for you, think about it. Okay? So in my own case, for instance, I'm mid-level and I'm supporting someone who is top level. If I'm going to say, how can I help you? It means that I'm going to gather everybody, my more junior team members, to see how we can get help for that task to move. Okay? So I'm going to be central. I'm going to make sure that I'm persuading everybody to act, to make sure that my boss's burden is eased. Another thing you may not be doing so well is supporting your boss's ideas openly. Now, if you support someone, you may decide not to say anything. You just support it. I mean, if they put it to vote, you probably say yes. But in that moment, you're not saying anything. And because you're not saying anything, people don't really know where you stand. Some people don't even have any meaningful body language that you can transcribe to mean yes or no. So that's something you're going to do differently. If they say something and you agree, you're going to say, oh, okay, I agree with that. I think we should do it. Be vocal about your support for your boss openly. Okay, be vocal about it. And, don't go emotionless on them. Back them up during team meetings. And that's not you saying, oh, you're just trying to play to be the favorite of the boss. No, that's not what you're doing. You already agree with their plan. That's the starting point. Back them up openly. Show enthusiasm, because they are trying to get everybody's buy-in. One more person supporting them is going to be better than nobody supporting at all. So that's why you want to be there to support them. There are instances when you would not agree. I don't agree with my bosses all of the time. It's not new. I don't agree all of the time. It's not all of the ideas. There are some ideas they have I don't agree with. But what I don't do personally is to share a dissenting opinion, especially in high stake meetings. I don't share my dissenting opinions like that. I'm very careful. If I have a dissenting opinion about something my boss is trying to do, it will most times be personal conversations. And I choose to do that because the fact that I have a dissenting opinion does not make me right in the first place and does not make them wrong. I just have a different perspective. And if we can come to a compromise as to how it is being implemented to suit everybody, then that's fine. But I personally shy away from disagreeing with them openly or getting confrontational. You're not going to get anything out of that. Nothing. You're not going to get anything away from that. So think about what this means for you in your own circumstance. Okay. Another thing is I want you to plug yourself into your boss's vision for your team. So you need to understand what your boss is trying to achieve with your team, and you need to plug yourself into that. Okay? Don't just do tasks. Ask them, what kind of team are you trying to build? What would you like me to do to support you? You know, those type of things. What are your worries? What are your concerns? You know, those types of things. Those are the kind of conversations you want to be having with your boss. Okay. I have this very, very belief. This belief I have is just very strong, and that is that in my framework for leveraging people for results, your relationship with your immediate boss is super important. I do not believe that you are going to get away unscratched if you don't build a good relationship, a good working relationship with your immediate boss, because your immediate boss has a lot of power and a lot of authority as to how you're seen by others. They can basically plunge you into darkness, like you're not getting any visibility, or they could help you. They could put you on their shoulders and help you run with it. Okay, so if you want to be plunged into obscurity quite quickly, then don't build that relationship with your immediate boss. But if you want that visibility, invest in that relationship. And these are the little things you could do. To lift that burden off of them, to play into their vision for the team, to appreciate and acknowledge the value they are bringing, and just basically stick with them. I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.